Hello. My name's Wendy Williams, and I'm the senior minister at Jefferson Unitarian Church in Golden, Colorado. I was called there 3 years ago, and as that search process was happening, inside the church there was a decision to live into our mission, which is to nurture souls, grow Unitarian Universalism, and transform the world beyond our walls. Already an encore, such a good event. Our mission is to nurture souls, grow Unitarian Universalism, and transform the world beyond our walls. That's what attracted me to Jefferson Unitarian Church, was that mission. So while I was in search, they were deciding, yes, we're going to do this, and we're going to start a second campus. And so the work that was being done in that congregation by staff, not the ministry team, but by a staff member, leaned into, and a team went to visit San Diego. So we really leaned into that model, and we started a church about 25 or 30 miles from our main campus, and that's in Evergreen, Colorado, which is a mountain community. The decision was made that we want to grow Unitarian Universalism, and like most good missions, I'm not sure we knew what that meant. Because I really think that we probably were thinking grow Unitarian Universalists, right? And that's part of Second Campus. And I think further that we sort of thought, well, we're just going to get a little me. A little me. And it's a long time since Jefferson Unitarian Church was a small church. Long time. We're about 780 now. And so it's been a very, very long time since it was just a budding enterprise. So that's created a lot of learning for us. And unlike Kathleen, where there's been a long-standing yearning to serve a particular community that the church felt was underserved, in our context, we had to look that we live in the Denver metro area, and there are several churches. There's 2 right in Denver. There's 2 just outside of Denver. There's our congregation 15 miles west of Denver, and then there's 2 congregations in the Boulder area, which is also not far away. So where are we? There wasn't this long yearning, but we said, how are we going to live our mission? And 2 geographic areas were identified. One was the mountain community, and the other was a northern suburb area. And for a myriad of reasons, it was decided that the best chance for success was in the mountain community. We're 3 years in. Our first more than a year, we were just having that campus meet once a month, which I'll just tell you is a very challenging way to grow church. Additionally, we were in a multi-purpose room in a charter school, with all of the charm that implies. So there was a soda machine off on the left that just at the wrong point in the hymn would kick in to chill the Coke. You know, it's just kind of tough sledding. The church dynamics piece really played a big role for us. How do we understand if and most of the reading that you can do around multi-site ministry is to take the DNA of the large church and bring it to the small church. Well, that first requires that you understand what your DNA is. What's your North Star? And then you have to have a fundamental understanding of what are church dynamics and how can you make the essence of your North Star relevant when there's maybe only 20 or 40 or 50 or 60 people in the room. How do you get key leaders who live there? And we happen to have a wonderful second campus team, most of whom live in that community, who do great work. But really owning that as the staff has been a long time in coming. We now actually meet in a church, in a Presbyterian church, the great story of which is that there's a young family that comes and two little girls were sitting with their mother, and they looked because there's a cross behind the chancel, and the one little girl said to her mother, "Mama, what's the T stand for?" It's both charming and deeply troubling that we live in that level of theological illiteracy, but in any event. But it has taken our staff a long time. As you know, in your congregations, there's many things like people are, "Wow, that's a great idea. Yeah, let's do it." And they assume somebody else will do it. It has taken our staff a long time to say, how do we understand ourselves, not just to do our work here where our office is, but also there. And then even though the congregation was very excited about it, it is an ongoing challenge for us to really wrestle with not saying they and them. And almost, when will this experiment be over? Or what, and a misperception, and I think as leaders in our congregation, we need to revisit this ourselves. What's our ultimate goal? Because the church spin-off model that Kathleen referenced as First Church in San Diego, doing with the 4 other congregations in San Diego County, that's an understood model. So it's like, when are we going to cut that campus loose is one thing that we hear, or still this them. So in the main, our goal was to grow Unitarian Universalism, and I think even though we started out thinking Unitarian Universalists, I think we've increased our understanding of what Unitarian Universalism is, and this has been a wonderful way of doing that. And the last thing I'll say is that for me, the ultimate reason that we're doing this and that I'm so committed to it is this is how we foundationally live our theology. We have committed to one another as congregations, which we renew at every General Assembly. Here's why we're together. This is it. We shouldn't be competing with one another. Our message is too important, and if we can't strengthen each other, if we can't stand together and find ways of putting Unitarian Universalism in pockets where it doesn't exist, then I'm afraid our faith will die, and will die on our watch, and I can't have that happen.